Welcome to the Ask Dr. Deanna show. I'm Dr. Deanna Holgren, your host. Join me weekly as I cover various health-related lifestyle medicine topics that you get to request. This show is for anyone who wants to proactively improve their health position. I hope you enjoy the show. Hey, everybody. This is our final episode for the month of November, and it has been good to be back with everybody and to be bringing some great information to kind of help with weight, to help with losing weight and managing weight and just understanding obesity and insulin resistance and all of that. Next month, we will be taking a dive into intermittent fasting and using that as a tool. I know I've covered that a lot in the past, but we've got some new information that I'm excited to share about intermittent fasting as there's been more research done in that area and so forth. And just lots of people getting really great results, great research that's available to kind of back that up. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some holiday weight loss tips or really more weight management tips is really what I would say. I always feel like for my patients anyway, I always say, if you can make it through the holidays and not gain any weight, you are doing great. You need to pat yourself on the back, because you're doing really, really well. So for a lot of my patients who are trying to lose weight, sometimes it's like you're actually winning if you make it through without gaining. And many of them do end up losing weight as we, move through the holiday season as well by sticking with their program because they're getting good results and they want to continue with that. The average American gains typically anywhere from 10 to 15 pounds between Thanksgiving and New Year's. And then we run into the whole, okay, now you got to hurry up and get ready for swimsuit season, spring's approaching, whatever. And it's a mad rush, to try to thinking is let's just not gain that weight. Okay. Let's just prevent it. And so today I want to give you some tips, some things that I've used that I've recommended, that just make a big, big difference for people. And number one, I'm going to recommend that you do incorporate some intermittent fasting as you head into the holiday season. And so for some of you, that might just mean fasting 12 hours every night. A lot of times we're doing holiday gatherings, parties, whatever, and we end up eating later than we normally would. And so if you fall into that category, just make note of what time you last ate, and that does include that late night glass of wine or cocktail or whatever, because there will be calories in that. So you need to make note of that. And then at a minimum, fast for 12 hours from that time. For many of us, it's not uncommon for me to fast 16, sometimes 18 hours, because that has kind of the sweet spot that's really helped me from a weight standpoint. But basically fasting would be the first part of it. The second part would be anytime you're going to an event, do not go starving. Okay. So, maybe it's a big dinner celebration you're having. Many times people will think, well, I'm going to have this fantastic meal. So I'm just, going to hold off and not eat anything. And I'm going to load up when I get there. Don't do that. Okay. At the very least, you can fast during that day for sure, but then have a protein shake or something healthy before you go. Even if it's just a half of a protein over eating at the party, at the celebration. And that's probably one of the best tips that I can give to help prevent that overeating. And then, when you are there at the event, small pieces, sometimes people cut servings or whatever, and they're these massive slices of whatever, just have a taste of something. Okay. If you have any at all, just have a taste. Don't go for the whole, giant slice of cheesecake. Small bites are a great thing. They can be very, very satisfying. Also, I always tell people if you are at an event, just load up on vegetables first. Okay, get your veggies in, and that way, you've got some nutrients on board. That will make a difference as well. And then also another great tip for the holidays is to just be mindful of activity. If you know that you're going to be consuming more calories than normal, and so maybe that means means that you're going to go for an extra 3-mile walk. Maybe that means that you're going to, walk twice a day. Or, get on the elliptical or the treadmill or whatever it is that you do routinely, but definitely increase your activity. If you're stuck in an office and you feel like, oh gosh, I don't really have time to fit that in, skip your 30-minute lunch break or whatever and go walk up and down the stairs in your office. Find some stairs somewhere. Go run those stairs, walk those stairs, take a walk at lunch, whatever. That's something that I typically do. During my practice, instead of lunch, I will go out and usually walk for about 25 minutes just to get some fresh air. And it makes a huge difference overall. The other thing that I like to do is just teach people how to, sometimes I call it carb rationing, carbohydrate rationing, or calorie rationing. What do I mean by that? Well, carbohydrate rationing is this whole concept of, I always view carbohydrates, I have to eat lower carb because if I eat too many carbs, I gain weight. It turns to sugar and I gain weight. Diabetes is rampant in my family. I always say if I gain 20 pounds, I will be diabetic. So this is something that I have to watch personally. So I do eat a diet that's lower carb. My typical day, I usually fast until about 11:30, and then I break my fast with a very healthy protein shake. I might possibly have a half an avocado or maybe a handful of pecans because I want some healthy fat with that. So at that point in the day, I am very low to no carbohydrates at all. And then as my day goes on, I might include them, but I'm in a sense rationing. So if I know that my evening meal is likely to have a little more carbohydrate, then I'm going to be super light on the carbs earlier. So if I know that I'm going to celebration and I know that, yes, the foods there are going to be higher carb, I'm likely to consume more. Maybe I'm going to have a glass of wine, which is carbohydrate, whatever, great rationing. And, I'm going to be light, intentionally light earlier in the day, still eating. I'm just having protein, I'm having fat, whatever. And then that way I am still staying under my essentially 50 grams of carbs in a day, which is really what I try to target. So that would be something to do, but you can do that also with calories. So calorie rationing, a lot of people, I'm not a big fan of saying it's just about calories because it's not. There for the longest time in medicine and healthcare, they would say just lower your calories to 1,200 and a day, and you will lose weight with this. And it was just the whole concept of 600, which would equal out to be about 2 pounds of weight loss per week or about 8 pounds per month. And yes, that is true to some extent, but what's not true is that a calorie equals a calorie, because it doesn't. And what I mean by that is if I were to consume 1,500 calories of nutrient dense, really clean, healthy foods, I might lose weight on that. Okay. Depending on my activity level, I might just stay even, but depending on my activity level, I'm with that. If I consumed 1,500 calories of high fructose corn syrup soda in a day, okay, and that's all I consumed, I probably would gain weight on that because of the metabolic effect, because of the endocrine system and the way that high fructose corn syrup disrupts my endocrine system, basically causing my blood sugar to go high, my insulin levels to go high. Insulin, says stored as fat, whatever. And so you can see a calorie does not equal a calorie. They're both 1,500 calories, but one is in a sense a death sentence at the cellular level. The other one is quite different, and you might even be losing weight on it. So we can do this whole calorie rationing, carbohydrate rationing as we go through our day. But again, I'm not a big fan of calorie counting. I really more count carbohydrates. For the most part, I like to stay more grain free, just because grains tend to drive a lot of autoimmune issues. And tend to be somewhat toxic because of the spray on them and so forth. So those are some tips to do. And then in addition, just watch those drinks. Okay. So a lot of times, drinks can definitely be a place of extra calories, of extra carbs, of a lot of sugar, that sort of thing. And that can really sneak up on you as well. And then if, let's say that you had a day, it was a big celebration, you had a high level of consumption that day. Well, then the next day, let's do something about it. Okay. We already need to be working, to basically get back to that net zero area. So what do we need to do? Well, that means increase the activity. Let's get moving. Okay. Always get moving. And even for a lot of my diabetics, if they have high blood sugar readings for my type 2 diabetics in my practice, one of the things that will drive that sugar down, just get on your treadmill. Your sugar's 250. Get on your treadmill. Maybe don't take the extra insulin. Play with it. Let's see what happens when you get on the treadmill and walk for 20 minutes. It brings it down. We have diabetic patients who will use insulin to bring their blood sugar down, and it might take, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, for that to finally start having an effect, when you could have just, got moving and had the same effect. So it's the same thing, for those of us who are not diabetic. Again, you overconsumed, you had too many calories, you had too many carbs, whatever. And it is time to start pushing the water. Let's drink a lot of clean water. Don't overdo it, but make sure that you're getting clean water to cleanse your cells. Make sure that you're moving, breathing fresh air. Add in there a little bit of, I like a milk thistle tea. That's just really, really great to help cleanse the cells as well from a detox standpoint. And all of those things, it just makes such a difference overall. When people are being mindful of it, then you can make it through the holidays at net zero without gaining any weight. You can even make it through the holidays and lose some weight if you are following a lot of the guidelines and incorporating intermittent fasting, etc. So I hope this has been helpful, and keep these tips in mind as you head through the rest of the holiday season. And I hope that you'll join in next week as we launch into December. We'll be talking a lot about intermittent fasting and just kind of prepping, getting ready for that big, weight loss month, which everybody knows is January. Most people will make a New Year's resolution to lose weight, to get healthy, to go to the gym. And I believe statistically by the end of that month, they are finished. They've hung up their New Year's resolution. So we're not about resolutions. We are about lifestyles. We are about making positive changes, small changes, one step at a time, that become part of a healthy lifestyle that we can embrace and continue and just build on from there. So thanks so much for joining me, everybody. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving, and also looking forward to December with you. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed that episode. For more information, visit me at deannaholdren.com. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dr. Deanna Holdren. I really want to hear from you, so message me. I love taking your messages and creating topics from them. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share my show with those who have an interest in health and wellness. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next week.